Hello piscator pals, good morning, for it is morning at the moment. I have got to the point in my angling career, I've decided, in fact I decided a long time ago, what am I doing? But getting up early to go fishing is just not me anymore. I'm very much an angler who rolls out of bed, makes his way down to the river or the lake or the pond or wherever, and then just kind of does 3 or 4 hours, gets tired, and feels hungry and goes home. Not that I don't enjoy my angling, because I really do, but I'm getting on, guys. I'm nearly 40. I've been fishing for nearly 30 years, but it's 5:30 in the morning and I'm outside Bristol Temple Meads waiting for my friend Glen. He's finished his hibernation for the winter, the weather's warming up and he's out and he's fishing, and he wants to go fishing, so I'm going to go join him. But he's an early bird, is our Glen, so I'm not used to it. All through the winter I'm used to get up at 9 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning, ambling down to the river or a lake or wherever. But never mind. The main problem is that, you know, I set my alarm for 5 o'clock and I was like, oh, I must get some sleep, you know, because I'm going to be tired tomorrow if I don't get some sleep. And I get so excited about fishing that I don't go to sleep till like 1 in the morning, which is actually pretty early for me. And then, inexplicably, at 3 o'clock, bam, there I am again, awake, 2 hours sleep. So I was just like laying in bed for 2 hours thinking, well, I'm not going to go now, there's been no trains, and Glen won't get here until, well, I don't know, 6 o'clock-ish. But I'm here now, I'm ready and waiting. I've got some maggots, I've got some pellets. The only people who are up are a few people on the buses and the bin man. I'm gonna chill out here, wait for my buddy, and then head off on the train to a venue which I've never been to before. Well, that's not entirely true. I have been to this venue, but not this particular section. So let's see how we get on, shall we? Let's hope it gets a bit less dreary and the sun shines out and the fish come out to come and play. There we are, not too far from the old train station in Bath Spa, and I've made my way onto the Kennet and Avon Canal, which is super near to the railway station, which is fantastic because I'm still knackered. Haven't woken up yet. Anyway, I'm just taking out my float rod. I'm going to start by float fishing today, just to see what fish are about. Pay attention to what I'm doing. I've also got my feeder rod with me, should I want to cast a bit further out into some of these turnaround points. Can't fish too near to the locks, of course, because you don't want to get caught up in all the boats that are going to be travelling through them later in the day. And at any point, of course, fishing on a canal, especially with lots of canal boats, just check the eyes are in the right position. So what you should do really is when you're putting the two sections together, is you look down it like a gun, just to make sure all the eyes all line up. And they do. But yes, there's every chance I could be fishing here and a boat could want to moor right in front of me. And boats have the right of way, of course, so we would have to move on. So it might be a bit of a jumping around session today. There we go, all lined up. Nice light float rod. Grab my reel. Just set up nice and easy, really. You don't never want to rush setting up. You want to get it just right, because if you rush setting up, you'll end up making a mistake or doing something wrong, and then it will take you even longer to sort it out. Anyway, today we're just going for some mixed fishing. So just start with the float, got some maggots, and see what I can get, and then a bit later on, maybe, depending on how the float fishing goes, I might cast a bit further out. I've got some pellet, I've got some ground bait, and see if I can feed up a little area to get maybe some bream or some tench. I'm expecting maybe roach, bleak, perch. Who knows? It's mixed bag fishing today here on the Kennet and Avon Canal. Oh, that's Glen beside me. Here he is. Casting out already. He's set his rod up beforehand. He was well in advance. He knew what he was doing. But I thought I'd get here first and just see what the water's like first. It's lovely and still. There's a few little fish topping on the top. So I thought, yeah, float. Anyway, I'm going to stop yammering away to you. Get this float rod set up, get a hook on the end and get fishing. Okay, so I'm all set up now, finally. There's a bit of drift on the water actually, which is going to be a little bit annoying. But I have plumbed the depth regardless, because I want to know how deep the water is. What I may have to do is extend the depth a little bit by 2 or 3 inches, just so that the bait holds bottom properly. What I mean is, if this is the bottom of the water, and my hook bait comes straight down, and it starts drifting along, if I extend the line so it goes along the bottom a little bit, it's going to drag along the bottom, hopefully catch on something a little bit and stop it from moving around so much. But I found the depth of the water and of course used my whiteout pen to mark on the rod exactly where that point is. So, but should I have to break a line or retie a hook or something, I can get the depth of the water back exactly as it was before. I've got my rod, let's get it in. I've got a fairly big waggler on, mostly because I'm fishing in a big turnaround point, and some of the fish, well, I'm going to start fishing quite close in, and the fish might be further out, so I might need to give a good cast to it. I've got a catapult to get some bait out, should I need to. I'm using maggot. This is actually 4-pound line, which is way too heavy for the fish I'm likely to be wanting to catch on the float here, which would be smaller fish like little perch and roach and perhaps dace and bleak and stuff. So I've just put a little loop in the main line and put on a little hook length down to a little size 16 hook of 2-pound line. Well, actually it's 2.5-pound line, which is a bit better for what the sort of fish I'm going for, so the fish can't see what's going on. Anyway, that's me set up, so I suppose I better get fishing. Check out some maggots, put a maggot on the hook and see what turns up. First cast, straight into a snag. Broke my hook length straight away. But the good thing is I can just grab another hook length, cut off the extra bit of line that was stuck to the end, put it straight on, and the hook lengths are all the same length, so I know I'm still fishing at the same point, which is why I put a hook length on. Plus, the lighter line is going to break before the heavier line, which means you're only going to lose a hook length and not all your float. So it's the best way to go, especially when you don't know the water. Incidentally, when you get the hook lengths out the packet, they can be a bit curly-whirly because they're sort of coiled around in there. So what I do is I get a knee and I just rub it along my knee just to warm it up a little bit, and it straightens out a piece of line absolutely perfectly. Top tip there if you're fishing with hook lengths from a pre-tied packet, which I am today because I'm being lazy. Right, let's get some maggots on and try and catch a fish and not a snag. There we go, first fish of the day. Rather cross little perch. Look at him. Fiery little fish these, I love them. Beautiful. Love the bit of red maggot, as perch often do. So if we get a few more of these, maybe a bit bigger. Mwah. Next fish is a lovely chub. There we are, here's a little one. Good old fish to catch on the canal. Oh, barbless hooks, comes out nice and easy. There we go. I suppose being so near to the river Avon, the chub has managed to get their way into the canal quite easily. It's a bit battered and beaten, But he's been loving the maggots. As he came up, he was spitting out, don't know if you can see, on his back now. He spat out a load of maggots which he was sweeping around, picking up in the water. So the maggots are obviously a good way to go. Anyway, popping back into the water. Third fish. A dace. Also likes the maggots. Turning to a little species hunt this. I like it. Perch chub dace. In you go. He spat out a load of maggots as well as I popped him in. God, they're loving these maggots today. Could be in for a really good session here, so long as a boat doesn't come and sit right in front of me. There's no time like the present though, whilst it's nice and quiet, to do some bagging up. Tell you what, I might not even need my feeder set up if the float fishing is going to be this good. There we are. With the boats moving in to the turnaround points in Bath, we've just moved further up the canal, quite a bit further up actually. Found a nice little quiet spot just out the way. This is still another spot where the boats are likely to park in front of us, but a lot less likely. And I think there'll be a lot less tow in the water as well because there's no locks up this way. So back on the plummet again, find the depth of the water, mark it on the rod with the white out pen, and start again. We'll build up another swim, see what fish we get here. A lot of anglers get annoyed when a boat goes past. They've got to reel in and wait for it to go past. But I find as soon as a boat goes past, cast directly out behind it, and all the water underneath is all churned up. And that's what happened with this little bream. Just cast straight behind the boat. Bam, bream straight away. Nice. Back in he goes. Bream slime. Mr. Eel. That's quite a nice eel. Maybe about a pound. Oh, that's so slimy. Best viewed in the net. Here he is, Mr. Eel. Slimy, slime, slime. Here we go, slightly better bream. Lovely fish. It's got lots of spawning tubercles on its head. Can you see the little white dots? They get them during breeding season, and the males rub up against the females to sort of stimulate them to produce the eggs, so that they can then fertilise them. Here we go. Nice. There's something about canal fishing that I really enjoy. I was just sitting here thinking, what is it? What is it that I specifically like about it? And I think it's, for me, that mix of like the industrial urban setting and the countryside. As you can see, it's beautiful in the background. In fact, behind me you've got the rolling hills, and it looks even more beautiful, but I'll get some shots of that in a minute. But yeah, you've got, you know, wildlife and nature living so close alongside, oh, talk about wildlife, moorhen, living so close alongside the man-made diggings of the canal. Also with canals, there's so many different types of fish in here. And it's a great place for a little mixed bag fishing. That's why you quite often see match anglers along the canals, because there's always quite a lot of different species for them to catch, and different methods of catching them. Of course, my main method of any sort of fishing is float fishing, which is exactly what I'm doing at the minute. And so I've already had 6 species of fish just on the float fish this morning, and that's pretty impressive. It's tricky to fish a canal, because especially with locks on, when the lock opens up further down, the water starts moving along it, and when the lock opens up further up, it starts going up that way and back and forth. So it's tricky to get your float to stay still, which is why I might go for some feeder fishing later on with some ground bait. But for the time being, I'm happy enough with just trolling up and down, making sure there's no... Get a few low-flying ducks go through, and it seems to be every time I want to cast. So I have to give it a quick look, check there's no ducks, and cast out. There we go, that's better. I'm recasting quite a bit in a minute because a lock has opened up further down, and the flow is dragging my float around a little bit. I'm trying to get it into a relatively small area where I've been baiting up. It's a really peaceful day today, despite the fact there's a lot of people walking up and down. There was a few kids walking past earlier on, and I had a big eel in the net. Well, I say big, it's about a pound or so. Big compared to some of the other ones I've been catching. I haven't filmed them all, but some of them are tiny little eels. There was a fairly big one of about a pound, and I showed all the kids that were walking past it, and they were going, "Oh, an eel, an eel!" I get that excited about eels, but most anglers don't. Yeah, it's nice. You've got a few people going up and down, a few people to chat to, people want to know what's in here. And if you do see the youngsters going along, you catch a fish, they love it even more. A lot of joggers, which is fine. It's not for me. I'm built for a sedentary life, not for running. And whenever they go past, it's like a steam train. No, that's not for me. Not in the slightest. Anything that causes my body to do that is not. It's not something I want to get on board with. Here we've got another canal boat coming through. All the canal boat people have been very nice this morning, chatting away, apologising even though they don't need to. They have met resistance from a few people who refuse to reel in on occasion, so they're always a bit wary of an angler like me, who will happily reel in for them rather than have all my line tangled up. After all, they have the right of way. And we're all enjoying the water in our own different ways, and we should all give that opportunity to do so. Then without a load of fishing line tangled around the propeller. Ooh. No. And me without a boat on the end of a hook. That's why the fly then. Watch the replay. Oh dear. Getting close to nature, eh? Much closer than swallowing a fly. Ah, but it's nice. Really nice. However, we are considering moving on shortly to another little spot further up. Been checking out the Google Maps. And a change is as good as a rest. And there might be a few different fish about. A little bit of a different scenery. Put a lot of maggots into the swim, but not too many. So I'm not leaving behind a really well-established swim. So yeah, that's the plan. Glen's going to go and get some food. When he gets back, eat said food. Then move along.